going on, everyone? So yesterday I talked about three early potential buyout targets for the Lakers in Danny Green, Will Barton, and Terrence Ross. Today it was reported that Terrence Ross is working on a buyout and he's close to a buyout, so that would be a great target. So as these days continue, we're going to get more and more information on guys that are going to get bought now or have already gotten bought now. And so this video, I wanted to talk about centers. A lot of people want another big man. A lot of people look at it and go, okay, we got our wing depth, we got our guard play, we got everything. We would like a third center behind Anthony Davis, Mo Bamba, and guys like that. So I wanted to talk about some big men that are either already bought now or are rumored and reported to potentially being bought out that the Lakers could target to add to that 15th roster spot. A few things to keep in mind, though, is whoever this is, if they were to get another big man, it's very likely they're not going to play a ton. So that's a factor that is going to have to be taken into account. Plus, there's a lot of other teams that could use big men that more than the Lakers, especially with Anthony Davis. Anthony Davis is probably going to play 35-plus minutes at the center position, and then you're going to have Mo Bamba, you have Wenyen Gabriel, so that's something else to keep in mind. So in order, I wanted to kind of give my thoughts on which players I think would be the best in a relative order, and then of course I want to hear your thoughts and opinions. So right into it with Dwayne Deadman. So he was recently traded and then bought out by the Spurs. True 7-footer, good size, 245 pounds. Just a solid, savvy, veteran type center. Not somebody that's really going to stand out and change the course of the Lakers. He is still a decent age, 33 years old. Depending on what scale you look at, you could look at that as old, you could look at that as young, but we need veteran presence on this team. We have no more veteran presence outside of LeBron and AD. And LeBron and AD are great, don't get me wrong. But it would be nice to have just a locker room guy, another sizable player that can play some rotation minutes here and there, but isn't going to demand a ton. He's a guy that's recently played for Miami, just 11, just under 12 minutes per game. He's a guy that isn't gonna, again, not a huge standout, doesn't really stretch the floor much, 30% from three, so he's not a guy that's gonna be super versatile, but he is a guy that can, block some shots, play some solid defense, get some rebounding. He's averaging about 6 points per game. Again, nothing really major, just would be a nice solid addition as that third big man, that third true 7-footer off the bench. And the question comes down to him is he okay with being that, or does he want to go to a place where he might get more minutes, say a team like the Phoenix Suns? And I'm going to bring up the Phoenix Suns a lot during these various videos of buyout candidates, because Phoenix is probably our biggest competition, because they just have they have essentially 10 roster spots that they need to fill now, and so a lot of these guys are going to get more minutes elsewhere, but I do think Deadman would be a nice, solid addition if he was somebody, but not personally my favorite. It's just kind of a guy that's okay, we have him on the bench just to kind of have him. Almost like a Damian Jones, how Damian Jones never saw the floor, but he was pull string in case of emergency type thing, or break glass, however you want to look at it. And that's kind of how I feel about Deadman. But on from Deadman, you have Serge Ibaka. Again, 33 years old, 6'10", so very similar in that sense. A veteran guy, locker room guy, not going to make too huge of an impact, right? He's not a guy that's going to come in and just completely change the landscape of the Lakers. But he is, Mr. Ibaka. I mean, he's not OKC Ibaka, but he still is very capable of just contesting and challenging shots. He's a guy that, with Milwaukee this last season, hadn't really, with Milwaukee, period, he hadn't really played much. He only played 35 games total with Milwaukee and averaged roughly 14 minutes a game between those two. The first stint after the Clippers stint, he ended up averaging about 7 points per game, was getting about 5 rebounds in roughly 17.8 minutes, so he did have a more larger role with the Bucks the last time. But with the Clippers, he had a pretty decent stint with them. Played a handful of games. He was averaging around 7 to 11 points per game in different years. And again, comes down to minutes, play time, but he's not going to be again, this is a piece that's like, he's our third big off the bench. He's a locker room guy. He's not going to complain or challenge too much, but he wants to play though too, which is where I don't see us getting him. I think he's going to go to the team that would be willing to give him the best opportunity for minutes, which is, again, that's a challenge for basically any of these guys, let alone just Serge Ibaka. But a lot of these guys, they're going to want to go to a place where, okay, well, I'm a veteran. I want to play 15 minutes a game or 12 minutes a game. I don't see that with him on the Lakers. I think he, again, just gets spot minutes. You could play the 4. You could play him in different spots, but we just have so many people that play the 4 spot or are capable of playing the 4 spot. I mean, including Anthony Davis. So that's kind of my thing, is like, who does he beat out, right? Like, who are you sitting down to replace for Serge Ibaka at this point? Like, I like the idea of Ibaka, but I don't really, they want to run Winning Gabriel more. His energy, his motor, and 10 minutes a game, I think would be more productive than Ibaka. Although, depends on the matchup, right? Like, if you're playing a bigger team, like if you're playing Minnesota, right, then Serge Ibaka might make a little more sense than you're running matchups with Winning Gabriel and Anthony Davis at times. Like, you're better off, okay, well, now we'd have Serge Ibaka, Anthony Davis, and we'd have Mo Bamba to kind of combat those guys, challenge the Rudy Gobert, the Karl Anthony Towns. Got 3 guys that are switchable. Like, that could be something. It's just a thought, but again, not really my favorite choice. I don't mind the idea. I've even thrown the idea out like a month ago now of like, hey, what about Serge? But the roster is just so much different now. At the time, he made a lot more sense than he does now. So again, not really super high on him. I wouldn't mind it, but again, I think that there are just better options. And speaking of better options, I think Burke, he is another one that could make a lot of sense, right? There's talks about him being bought out. Now, he isn't a true 7-footer or a big. He's closer to 6'8", 6'9" in size, which means, to be fair, we have basically an entire roster of those guys now. You think you got LeBron James, you got Jared Vanderbilt, you got Winning Gabriel, you got, Rui Hachimura, all of these guys, but he is best at center, kind of like Winning Gabriel. Winning Gabriel is best at center. Again, this isn't a guy that'll really stand out too much, but he is a guy that has some versatility, and he is still only 30 years old, so he's not super old. He's a couple years younger than the other guys, so a guy that you can keep around. Not really a floor spacer, although he is shooting 50% this year. He's only taken 4 shots from 3. So again, he's not a volume guy. He's not really a floor spacer guy. Kind of closer to the Winning Gabriel mold. I do like him just for the, the youth and, his capability and just being a high energy guy. Basically another Jared Vanderbilt, another Winning Gabriel type guy. I don't think you could have too many of those guys. Right? I think those guys are always good to have. But again, it kind of boils down to the same thoughts of the first 2 guys. Is who are you starting Burke over? I think Winning Gabriel has proven himself more. I think you're not starting him over Jared Vanderbilt. Whose minutes is he getting? And is he, again, going to be okay with being that other guy? Right? Or is he going to want to go to a team where he can kind of get more minutes and play a bigger role, rather than let me go to the Lakers and if I'm lucky, I'll play, in the next 26 games, 27 games, whatever it is, I'll get to play maybe 8 of them, right? Is that something that he's looking to do? Again, I don't mind him. If they got him, I would be happy. Good size, good length, versatility. He can play multiple positions, guard multiple positions. Not for longevity, but he can switch. Gives you some switchability, gives you some good size, gives you some good length. He's got good length. Again, not really a shooter, but just a solid all around guy that could make a little contribution when he's on the court. But next up is somebody that a lot of people really want to see on the Lakers, and that is Kevin Love. Now, Kevin Love makes a world of sense, right? Again, he's closer to the 6'8" size rather than the 7-foot size. Power forward, center, shooter, rebounder, do everything guy, works with LeBron, right? I mean, he won championship with LeBron, so you'd have that built-in chemistry, that built-in know-how. It would be a lot of fun to see Anthony Davis, Kevin Love, and LeBron James on the court together. Like, I would love to see that. And look, he's had, even at post LeBron, he's had some very good years for Cleveland. He's a shooter. He's developed into quite a good three-point shooter as a big man. And so he's a guy, you know, I mean, just last year he shot 40% from three on like good volume. He was taking 6 attempts per game. This year, his role is kind of diminished rather significantly as of late, but even still, he's shooting 36% on 5 attempts per game. So again, he's developed into like a legit three-point shooter, a legit three-point threat. He still has the rebounding, which would be nice. Still a guy that could go and get you some rebounds. He's a guy that can get you a couple offensive rebounds per game. Would be very solid. I wouldn't mind it. He's up there in age now. He's 34. So, again, a veteran guy. How much does he want to play, though? You know, that's really what Kevin Love comes down to, is how much does he want to play? Because, again, as much as I love and would love to see Kevin Love in the purple and gold, it's a player I've always wanted to see, right? Him and Russell Westbrook, UCLA, like I always wanted to see that in purple and gold. Unfortunately, the Russell Westbrook part didn't work out, but maybe Kevin Love would. Maybe Kevin Love would be great. And, you know, versatile, so you could play him at the center, you could play him at the 4. My problem is, one, defensively, is basically non-existent. He's a liability defensively. He still is a great shooter. He'd be a great big off the bench that you could play next to all of our bigs. But who are you playing over him? Like, that's the problem. Like whose spot is he going to take on this team? Right? Like, yeah, you could run like Rui and Vanderbilt at the 3, but you still have like LeBron, you still have Winning Gabriel, you still have Anthony Davis if you go big at times, like, and then you still have Rui and Vanderbilt and guys like that could play the 4. The problem is we just have so many guys that could play the 4, or if you're going small ball, you could have a small ball center and Winning Gabriel or Jared Vanderbilt, and you keep the defense and you keep the rebounding. You don't get the shooting, but you know, at least they could stop the other team rather than, you know, Kevin Love, where, yeah, he's going to give you probably 8 to 10 points per game, but he's probably going to give up as much, if not more. So, again, I really like Kevin Love. If the Lakers signed Kevin Love tomorrow, I would not be upset about it at all. Like, I'd be very excited. I would love to see Kevin Love on the court with LeBron and AD. I just think that would be a lot of fun. Would have been kind of cool if we landed Kyrie, right? Imagine if you had Kevin Love, Kyrie, LeBron, and AD. Like, that would have been really cool. But nonetheless, it's just, it's not something that I look at and go, man, that's who we need. Like, that's the piece that we're missing, because we just have so many guys that I think at this point in Kevin Love's career are just better suited for the Lakers and what we're trying to do, that run and gun, that youth, that athleticism. I just don't think Kevin Love fits that as much as we would need him to be. But again, I wouldn't hate it. I wouldn't hate it at all. But for the last player that is being reported to come out, which is, in my opinion, would be my favorite, and I think would be the best, although there is a few things about it, is Nerlens Noel. So there's a lot of talks of Nerlens Noel potentially getting bought out. Teams like the Sixers are interested in him. I'm sure that he will have no shortage of suitors as far as his type of play, right? Shot blocking big, 6'10", 28 years old, so he's still very young. He's not a guy that's, 33, 34. Play the power forward spot, play the center spot, gives you some nice versatility, gives you some nice flexibility. He's a guy that, again, not a great three-point shooter, not some guy that's really going to astound you in three-point shooting. He doesn't really take any, if at all, so he's not really a floor-stretching big. Although, again, he's shooting 50% again this year, but he's only played 14 games. He's only taken like a handful of threes this year, if that. So, again, he's more of like a shot-blocking, low-post big that could get you, a block or two a game. He would be nice next to Anthony Davis, next to, Winning Gabriel. The only reason I kind of like Nerlens Noel is he's a guy you could see playing over a couple guys. Like, I could see Nerlens Noel playing over, like, Winning Gabriel, right? I could see Nerlens Noel maybe even playing over Mo Bamba because Nerlens Noel is a little more polished and Mo Bamba is a little more like, okay, like there's questions about his game at times. He gets kind of lost out there. Just the commitment doesn't really seem there at times. Again, he's young. Lakers got him for a young development project where Nerlens Noel could come in and help you immediately. Problem is, you're probably not keeping Nerlens Noel long haul. And how many minutes is he going to play? Although he would be great against the bigger centers, like you could put him against the Joker, put him against Embiid, put him against Rudy Gobert, like guys like that. I think Nerlens Noel would be just a better fit. Could provide some rebounding, could provide some shot blocking, be a nice lob threat, just an all-around solid guy, right? He's not going to play 40 minutes a game. He's a guy that's going to come in, probably play 15 to maybe 20 at most, but he's also a guy that could help like when Anthony Davis is out. Anthony Davis is going to miss more games, whether it's just rest or like little nagging things here and there. Hopefully it's nothing major, knock on wood. But if, Anthony Davis misses a game or two, Nerlens Noel would be great as a guy you could start. You could even play him and Mo Bamba together because Mo Bamba's ability to stretch the floor as a 40% three-point shooter. So you could do that. You could play him next to Winning Gabriel. You could play him next to, a Vanderbilt or a Rui Hachimura or a LeBron James or whatever. It would just give you some nice flexibility. So Nerlens Noel, I would be all for. He would be my favorite as far as like centers that are rumored to be available and a potential buyout. So if we could get a Nerlens Noel, that would be my vote. But either of these guys, I don't think you could really go wrong with. It just comes down to like what would the Lakers want, right? Again, if you're getting Nerlens Noel, you're getting him to be a contributor. You're signing Nerlens Noel as a guy like, okay, we're bringing him in to help us now because we want to build and grow Mo Bamba, right? Although the Lakers have said that they want to play Winning Gabriel more, like that was outside of Thomas Bryant wanting out, that was a big reason they wanted to play Winning more. So I do think Winning is kind of their idea, but Nerlens Noel, again, like you get a true, not a true 7-footer, but you get a bigger, longer, taller version of that, I guess, shot blocking, rebounding guy. Kevin Love, I love the idea of Kevin Love just because, I've always been fond of Kevin Love, dating back to UCLA days and then Minnesota days and then Cleveland days and kind of just following his career. But I just don't really think he makes a lot of sense. I don't. Again, I wouldn't be mad about it, but it doesn't really make a lot of sense. Kim Burke, same thing. Doesn't really make a lot of sense. He's going to be kind of the odd man out, in my opinion. Serge Ibaka and Deadman, I think, are just, you get them just for like the veteran guys. You have a veteran presence guy, the third big off the bench, just playing in spots when you need him. Again, if Anthony Davis is sitting out, you have him as the backup. Maybe you start Mo Bamba or maybe you start Winning Gabriel, and then you have Serge Ibaka or Deadman just kind of off the bench as those guys that can come in and just fill in minutes. They're not guys that you're really going to play heavily. It's just kind of like the veteran presence, the veteran locker room guy, a guy that, the Jared Dudley, the Patrick Beverly, those kind of guys, but on like a reasonable contract, but can also fill in a spot, in a pinch, in a need if you need to. But I think if you're going to go the big man route, get Nerlens Noel and have him as like the starter next to Anthony Davis, or you bring him as the next big off the bench. Mo Bamba's your guy for the next couple seasons. He's the guy you're going to grow, develop, put around. You could even play him next to Nerlens Noel as a floor stretching big. Like imagine if you had Nerlens Noel and Anthony Davis, or Mo Bamba, Anthony Davis, or Nerlens Noel, Mo Bamba. Like now you have some real, like you could always have, a 6'11", 7-foot guy out there and two shot blocking bigs out there at all times. I think that would be the best fit. I think that would make the most sense if you're going to go that route. Like, good luck trying to score. And then you play like a Jared Vanderbilt next to either of those three, right? And two combinations. Like, good luck scoring inside on those guys. Like, imagine Jared Vanderbilt, Nerlens Noel, and Anthony Davis. Like, how do you score between those guys? And Nerlens Noel and Anthony Davis would have some chemistry, so that would be nice too. But anyway, again, Let me know your thoughts and opinions. I'd love to hear how you feel about it down in the comment section below. Which of these guys would you love? Is there anyone else that you'd like? And then again, give me some pieces. I definitely want to make some more of these lists, kind of go through all of the potential buyouts. I just wanted to kind of dedicate one to big men, because I know a lot of people want some big men. But even if there's like not a big man that you're interested in, even if it's just another player, definitely let me know, and I'll be putting some more of these lists together. So however you feel, whatever your thoughts are, let me know down in the